So it appears I'm back. I took a little vacation. Don't know how long I'll be back. But I'm here now. Let's see. The thing I want to talk about is what I've dealt with the past few weeks. I've had to deal with complaints about neighbors, which I know I haven't done. I've had to deal with countless people trying to come up to me and they screwed up. And now, earlier today, about 2 hours ago, I had my 10th boxing match. One of these days I need to release my training footage showing the difference in how I train now from what I did then. I most likely have a difference in thought process, a difference in training process, but overall, I don't have the same process as I did when I first started boxing. Not even during, it was Thursday morning. I had received a call at about 2:15 in the morning. And the call had stated that how Doug was in a state that he couldn't physically do anything anymore. They had told me that Doug had passed away in his sleep at around 2:11. And they didn't really notice this until they had tried checking his pulse. And they had contacted and called me at around 2:50. The thing I want to talk about is how much this has affected me. What I had in the beginning was nothing. What I have now is not what I had then. But it feels like I have nothing now. And it needed to be addressed. And mix that in with the neighbors being pests. I even told it straight to their faces that if they're going to keep annoying me, they need to end all of the things that they're doing now. They continue to annoy me. They continue to call the police for no reason. So I just said what everybody would. Told them to shut the fuck up. And if they don't like it, leave. It appears they don't like me to tell them to shut the fuck up. So they don't understand other people's situations. They don't understand anybody else. I'm not going to listen to them if they're not even going to bother checking into how other people feel about the situation. So I don't care about what they have to say. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to them. And then I was training for 48 straight hours. Not every single hour, but I was awake for 48 hours straight, and I had managed to get in over 7 hours of boxing training. Without my trainer, my coach, the person I looked up to, it didn't feel the same. No matter if I knew I would win the next fight or not, it's not the same. But the key here is what happened after he was gone. Everything that I built up was now on a shoddy foundation because one mistake and I could knock it all down. One little mishap and all of what I have now is gone. For those that don't understand what I'm going through, for those that don't care, rather, for those that don't care, you do not need to watch this video. You do not need to do any of what many YouTubers ask you. If you don't like what I do, you don't have any right to be here. That being said, I wanted to make this not as just a video that I'm back. This may be one of the last videos I make. And it is simply because I have no other reason to make videos. Now, you might see me post something and you might hear me in my my YouTube channel. You might hear a few things, but what I want to talk about specifically is how this channel might go. I might just outright delete the channel. I might just leave it for YouTube algorithm. And I also heard that Andrew Tate was recently released from prison. Mix that in with everything I've dealt with and horrible neighbors, losing somebody that I cherished greatly, and that it gave me anger and it gave me hatred of the person in the ring with me. When I stepped in that ring, I had nothing but hate. I wanted to physically tear the person's arm off. And I even said this to him, that if he gets and hits me once, I will tear your arms off and feed him to dogs. Because at this point, what other choice do I have to tell people just what is going to happen? I have a feeling they took it quite literally and a little seriously. But I didn't realize the seriousness of what I had believed until he was telling his trainer. But I was told even his trainer wouldn't come to me because he was afraid I would tear his arm off too. This is the ultimate downside to being a man. And this is the ultimate problem with it, is that it doesn't matter how good of a person you are, it doesn't matter how good your intentions may seem, you will always be viewed in a bad light by somebody else. Always. And I think the addressing of the situation was important. But with everything that I have had in the past few years happen to me, I really didn't care. I didn't realize the importance that everything I had up until this point. I never understood what I truly had until now. There's some things I can't have again. I don't know how this is going to physically change how I think. I don't know if I'm ever going to be the same person after this event. I don't know. Because reality struck when I had lost the one person that I could count on. The world teaches you many things, and this is one of its major lessons. You can't trust anybody else for your safety. And all it's going to really do is continue to prove it to you again and again and again. This probably will be my final video. But I do want to point out, if you do want to come to our Discord channel that we have for my YouTube channel, there is a way to come to it. There is a way to check on us and possibly even join a game or two. But the key thing here is that not everybody is going to believe that this is the end of the channel. I have a good feeling that this is probably the last video I'm ever going to put on this channel. And if it isn't the last video, it is one of the very few that will remain. Even though I've got another fight in a couple of days, for my 11th fight, I'm hoping that everything that I've done up until this point is worth what I've done. That everything that I've put into the effort of keeping all of my boxing alive and well, I just want to know if it was worth it. To me, it's blurry, and I genuinely do not know if it was worth putting myself through this all just to be put in this situation. However, there's a lot of things that I've learned through boxing training and through Doug. A lot of things that without them today, I probably would not be sitting here anyway. And that things just happen, and you must let them happen. Trying to stop them might actually get you in more trouble. Sometimes things just need to happen. Sometimes there will be people that are put down in your life, and you have to move forward. And as I've said, I've only trained a few hours for the fight, and he's trained days, full days on this fight, and I only trained hours. But I think this is where I began having the advantage. I felt that I would rip him apart in that fight, and I think I very well did. And it's the mindset of the fighter, because if I'm not going to lose, I'm not going to lose. If I say I'm not going to lose, I'm not going to lose. If I say that it is not worth my time to fight you, it is not worth my time to fight you. There is no hidden message. There is no innuendo of anything else. What I say is what I mean. None of those fighters stand a damn chance against me. And it's very clear from this fight that anybody that tries to step up to me in that gym is going to learn that they are not going to last 10 seconds against me. You must learn to be an absolute monster. Jordan Peterson said it best. You must become a monster as a man. You must learn how to fight. You must learn how to do everything for yourself. And only then can you learn to control yourself, because you have the strength to control yourself. That is the key to being a man. You must become so hated in how you do things that everybody in the world knows your name. And then you learn to tame yourself. You learn to tame your hatred. You learn to tame how you've built yourself. The key to life isn't to being happy. It is to learn how to tame the beast. That is the lesson in life. So I want to put this in a very easy to understand methodology. For the men that are currently having trouble on who to trust, and more importantly, on who to really understand. If you need anything from anybody, if you need to find somebody, you don't need anybody else. All you need is yourself and your mind, because what that tells you is that you have to rely on other people to give you happiness, on the other people to give you comfort. There is no comfort and happiness when you're a man. There is no happiness. All there is hard work, determination, and strength. You have a right to at least feel somewhat safe in your own arms and in your own skin. But you shouldn't feel 100% safe. You should always be somewhat readily available to do things when time comes. You should always be able to throw hands when it calls for it. We become so soft that we aren't willing to fight for things we believe in. Rather, we're going to cry about it if we feel it's threatened. And that is the problem with everything that we have today. We don't have strong male figures like we did 100 years ago, 200 years ago. We don't have those people anymore. Instead, just take a look around you. Look at what we have of this modern world right now. Take a good look. Who do we have as people we look up to? Greta Thunberg, a whiny little bitch that thinks that she knows everything. Who else do we have? Joe Biden, Donald Trump, both fucking idiots that thought that they could change the country because they had a dream. They're not like Martin Luther King Jr. There is no threat. There is no threat to anybody. They are the ones producing the threat. And what about Vladimir Putin? He's old. He doesn't have much time to live. Even if he lives another few years, that's not a lot of time. His years are ticking down, and it's only a matter of time until he does something brash or somebody else does something brash. Our world is genuinely headed for a problem that we do not perceive as a threat. But I mark my words on this. We will be going through major events momentarily. There's nothing that we can do to stop them. Even if we try as much as we can now, it is too late. We have dug our hole, and now we must wait until the rain comes to fill it up. It is too late to back down now. The world is not ready for what is to come, and it is not ready to take on the challenges that face it. Because everybody on this planet is not capable of understanding what major problems affect this planet. Nobody understands them. But rather than saying that they don't understand them, as I do not understand them, you do not understand them, nobody does. There's no solid evidence to go off of. That does not mean we cannot look into it to see what we can do about it. That is the problem with humans. We don't understand the balance that men before us have had. They have had balance no one is capable of foreseeing in the future. They had so much balance in their lives that they were able to balance their livelihoods, their families. The important men in our lives likely had children because they were strong. They had the ability to push things forward, to do great things because they were different from everybody else. But today, we're told in schools to sit down and be quiet. And if we don't be quiet, we get in trouble. And as someone who works as a teacher's aide, it's nothing but truth. However, parents also also try to get teachers in trouble because their children don't know the rules of school. They try to get students constantly in trouble. They try to get teachers put out of jobs because they don't want to teach their kids properly. I will not say any names, as it is disrespectful, and that is why professionals have standards. And I will not break my standards because of this. It's a rough thing to see that many children go hungry, many children are having tough times in school. Some don't even understand why they're even there in the first place. And I'm beginning to think the same thing. Why are they even there in the first place? What choices have we made that led us to this situation? What choices have we given everybody else but our students? Teachers from God knows where are giving students the ability to do nothing about what they're saying. They could say that a new rule and legislature is signed, and all of a sudden everybody takes it seriously. And all the children have to do is sit there and listen because they don't have a choice. I always knew this was how it was ever since I was a teenager, that there's really nothing you can do about it. But now the fact that things are getting corrupt and now they're teaching kids completely differently from what they did 10 years ago. And it's gotten to a point where it's so bad that there is nothing that I could do. Even if I went to the board and complained, it would do nothing. Nothing. At all. The only real thing that would be accomplished, the only real thing that would even happen, is that I could likely lose my job by speaking out against the same board. That doesn't mean I'm not going to. When the time comes, I will speak out against it. If it shows that it is not worthy of being put in by me. But overall, the school board isn't bad from where I'm at. They understand that the children there are not the same, and they're making strides to change this, which I do respect. The fact that a school board actually listens to the teachers and the students is kind of surprising. Until I read about how many changes school boards make every year. That's what really hit it. School boards are not evil. It's the parents that speak out against it mainly that are evil. They may not realize what they're doing, and I don't think they do. And I had the beauty of listening to a handful of parents discuss how teachers are horrible, how some of the teachers are horrible and they should be fired. But from what I'm seeing, they're not horrible. They're just doing what the school board tells them to do. And rather than listening to logic, they go through petty bantering. They continuously blame the teachers, and the school board also, when it realizes that it gets off scot-free, that it's going to blame the teachers too, just to protect themselves. However, this school board, as I've said, is not the same. They've actually went against parents that spoke out and even called them hypocrites because they do the same things that the school board does to parents and teachers as they do to parents and their own children at home. They're not afraid to call out false accusations. They're not afraid to call out anything that isn't true. And for that, I give utmost respect towards the school community that I currently live in. I give nothing but utmost respect. They asked me to do something, I would do it without second guessing. Because they have earned my respect and they have earned me working there for as long as they need me to. They've earned it. And I can't even tell you the last time I said that. It would likely be a year and a half ago. But even then, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm getting to a point where my life is moving forward. And I don't know if I can do a YouTube video again. However, as I've said before, I do have a Discord channel. And anybody that comments in the video saying, oh, I want the Discord channel, I will give you the link to the Discord channel in a pinned message. That way, anybody that wants to join the channel, wants to join the server, go right ahead. We're not going to stop you, and I'm not going to stop you. But the key thing here, and my final message, is that even when the world is quite literally against you, everybody is like, I'm fall. Oh, I'm going to fall, but that's okay because I'm going to get back up. No, that's not enough. I looked the world dead in the eyes and it was scared shitless to even talk to me. My entire life, I was scared of the planet. I was scared of the future. Now, the future should be scared of me. Because everything that I've built myself over, and if the future is what I'm starting to see in the planet being violence and degeneracy, it should fear me. I'm not going to fear it. I'm not scared of it. It fears me. It fears the strong individuals that continuously break the stigma of how men are possibly perceived. I break the stigma along with millions of others. that is the end of this video. Not much else needs to be said. Make do with what you will, and I hope to see some of you in the Discord server when the time comes. Because when things get down to business, there's not a whole lot we can't do. If we don't, we're all going to be in trouble.